Learn how a function can access variable from outside its scope. This example defines a global variable and uses its inside function to calculate a result. Let's look at it together. A closure basically means a function can use variable outside itself, not just inside. So let's make an example that demonstrates how closures can make use of global variable. On my screen, I have an outline of what we should do to make the example. So the first thing is that we need to declare a variable and assign it a value of 4 and name it a outside the function. Then we create the function itself and use the global variable inside the function. Then we return the value times itself, then call the function and then display the result. So let's move on. So let's first declare the global variable and assign it a value of 4. So now I already added the value to my variable. Now the next thing says create a function by function. So a normal way of creating function. So I can go ahead and make my function. Then inside it, it says use a inside the function. So how do I use a inside the function? Well, let me just make a return. That's how I will use it. A asterisk a. So I just used a inside the function and I'm done with the function. So now that I have this global variable, I need to call the function. And how do I call the function? So I want to document.getElement by it. So I'll call the function this way. My function. Now let's see what happens. I can see 16 on the screen. So just like that, I have been able to use my function to access the global variable that is outside the closure. So what this example does is that it defines a global variable a and uses it inside a function to calculate a result. So here we define a outside the function in order to make it global. And inside the function, we can still use a even though it was not declared inside it. The basic thing is that if it is outside, every function can use it. Even if you have another function, it will be able to access it. And that's because JavaScript allows functions to access variables from outer scope and not just inside of it. So here, the function does not have its own variable, as you can see, but it uses a from outside. This shows that function can access outer scope, and this is how closures begin. A function can look outside itself for variable. In situations where the function itself does not have its own variable, it can look outside. So basically, closures are about how functions access variables across different scope. A closure is not just inside variable. It also includes how function reach outside to use available data. Here are some key takeaways from this lesson. Functions are not limited to their own scope. They can use variables defined outside, and this is also the foundation of closures.